morning. Today is day 1 of the Backlist Readathon. I'm still getting over COVID, so you can probably hear my faint asthma and coughing. Sorry about that. But I am going to show you my full TBR, and then I'm gonna pick what I'm gonna start reading today. For the prompts, there are 6 different prompts, and for the one that's like the most intimidated to you, I picked Jodi Picoult's Sing You Home because this is a large book and I am intimidated by large books. I also have read a Jodi Picoult, I guess it was like 2 months ago, and I liked it, but I gave it 3 stars because it was very long, so I'm just intimidated to read this one and get it off my shelf. Then we have the shortest book on our TBR, is You Have the Right to Remain Fat, and this one is very, very short. I think it's 120 pages. Maybe I'll try and just knock that out real quick. Then for your favorite color on the cover, my favorite color is blue, so I picked When She Returned by Lucinda Berry. This is the last Lucinda Berry book I think that I have on my TBR. I think I've read, I'll have to check, she might have more books, but I've read like all 5 that I owned. So I think this is about a cult, and a lot of people say that I'm going to like this one, so we'll have to see. Then we have Read a Book That You Most Recently Hauled, and this was gifted to me. This is The Less People Know About Us. This is a non-fiction book about someone's identity getting stolen. So that sounds very interesting. And then I have Read a Book that was recommended to you, and a lot of people have recommended this to me, like my friend Tori, my friend Regina, my sister, probably a lot of others. This is Brother by Anya Alborn. I've actually never read an Anya Alborn book yet, and this is supposed to be like really dark, so I am really excited to read that. And then last but not least is to read a Book of the Month book. I am not a Book of the Month member, but sometimes when I'm swapping books, I do get Book of the Month copies, like as the swapped book. So I did have Goodnight Beautiful on my shelf, and this is a Book of the Month copy. So I'm going to read this. This is a domestic thriller, and I've heard such like mixed things. Like a lot of people say that it was like really good, but the ending wasn't great. So I'm very curious to see how I'm going to like this. For today, I feel like I kind of just want to knock out this little short one and then start another book, which I don't know, I'm thinking Goodnight Beautiful or When She Returned. I think I'm going to do Goodnight Beautiful though. I've been wanting to read this book for a while, so I think those are the 2 books I'm going to start reading today. I put a sweatshirt on because I'm chilly. But I finished this book, You Have the Right to Remain Fat. I am about to make some tea because I have a reading sprint for Patreon starting. I'm going to start a Zoom so we can like talk back and forth. But yeah, so we'll probably be reading for like an hour or so. I'm just gonna make some, do I want vanilla chai or just plain? Ooh, maybe I want peppermint. I think I'm gonna add some peppermint tea. Let me fill up the water while I'm talking to y'all. Okay, so I'm going to rate this book 2 stars. I just don't think I was the target audience for it. It does talk a lot about like diet culture, and obviously she is talking about people that are really mean to fat people who have fat phobias, but she's also extremely feminist, so much so that she just like hates men. And for some reason I keep accidentally reading all of these like hardcore feminist books, and I definitely don't believe in the hatred of men and blaming men for all of your problems. I also just didn't really like, I mean, part of what she said is obviously true. There are toxic things in diet culture. Maybe because I'm not as large as her, I am not seeing everything that she's talking about, but some of her stories just didn't make sense to me. Like she talks about how she went on a date with this like car salesman who was married, and how like badly he was treating her. But it's like, why would you pick someone to date like that? Like I just felt like that example didn't, you know, show what she was trying to depict. because obviously if the guy was already married, you already picked a bad guy, you know what I mean? But I also don't believe that all guys are bad either. I don't know. I just didn't really love it. I didn't really get a lot out of it. I didn't agree with a lot of it, but that maybe it's a me problem. I don't know. To read Goodnight Beautiful. So I'm going to start this so that way I can get into it a little bit before my reading sprint. I have like 30 minutes till my reading sprint starts. And I believe this is about like a therapist. There's a handsome psychotherapist, his lonely wife, and in his home office a ceiling vent you'd listen to, wouldn't you? So I'm excited. I do have this on audio, so I'm going to listen to this and maybe I'll try and take a walk later if I can breathe. Okay, it is 2:14. I finished with my reading sprint and it is a very nice day outside. It warmed up a little bit. It's actually 65 degrees out. So I'm gonna try and take a walk, but my breathing isn't that great with COVID. But I did get a decent chunk into Goodnight Beautiful. I'm 33%. And I was explaining to the ladies that were on my Patreon reading sprint with me, I stopped right before I got to part 2 because there was like a huge like plot twist that I didn't see coming that I was like, what? So I'm actually really liking it. It is about a therapist husband, and he is married to a wife of like 13 weeks. They like celebrate it every week, and she is listening to his conversations with his patients like through a vent. It is very interesting. It's definitely a different type of domestic thriller, and the plot twist definitely makes me excited to listen to more. So I'm gonna see if I can take a little bit of a walk and then I'll update you guys with my thoughts very soon.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly
Hello, it's day 3 of a Backlist Readathon. I did not film at all. Well, I didn't film the rest of day 1, and then I didn't film at all yesterday on day 2 because I was just feeling so bad still from COVID. I am just surprised in general just how long this COVID lasts. Like, I think today is day 9 now, and I'm feeling a little bit better today compared to other days, but I still have like breathing problems, so it's hard for me to talk for a very long time. I also have absolutely no taste or smell, like none at all. I can't smell candles, I can't smell perfume, I literally taste or smell anything, and I never thought of how depressing that is until actually having to deal with it. It literally takes all of the joy out of eating because number one, you're just not hungry. I mean, there's nothing to smell. There's nothing to make you salivate. There's nothing to make your hunger cues start. And everything that I eat just tastes the same. It tastes like nothing. The only thing I can taste is salt, which, I mean, I guess that makes sense because you don't smell salt. But it has been, especially with me, like I love cooking. I went to culinary school, so it's been very, very hard for me, like emotionally and mentally, to go through that. I haven't been drinking any coffee because, like, I mean, it just doesn't taste like anything. And yeah, I've hardly been eating anything because it's just not a fun thing to do anymore. I'm sorry, this video probably seems very depressing, but unfortunately, this readathon fell during when I had COVID, and I really hope I never get it again because I have hated all of these last 9 days. It has been very bad. In saying that, I did finish Goodnight Beautiful yesterday, so on day 2, I finished this, and I did like this book. I gave it 4 stars. I could have given it 5 stars, except that the fact, like the second half of this book is very similar to Misery by Stephen King, and the reason that I am telling you that is because of the fact that there are a lot of references to Misery by Stephen King in here. And I think if you've already read that, like there's no use even reading this book, you know what I mean? So I did enjoy the twists in here. Like I thought Amy Molly wrote really, really great twists. There were definitely plot twists that I was shocked by, that I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So that is why I rated it 4 stars, because I was entertained. I haven't been shocked by a thriller in a really long time. I did enjoy that. I just wish that she would have had more of an original idea and not just written Misery by Stephen King in the second half, if that makes sense. After I finished that book yesterday, I tried starting both Brother and When She Returned, but I was not feeling great yesterday, and I ended up falling asleep listening to both of them because I was listening on audiobook, and I took 2 different naps yesterday. So I will have to restart both of these books because I don't remember very much about them. But I think today I'm going to read When She Returned, because when I was listening on audio, I think I liked this one a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go ahead and read this one today. I'm so tired of coughing and almost choking. Today, Alvin did go back to work. I have to go back to work on Friday, and today is Wednesday. I'm sorry, I got out of the shower and I look terrible. I'm sorry everyone, but I just do not have the energy to like look decent. But Alvin went to work today, which is really sad because he has been quarantined with me because he also had COVID, but he was able to go back to work today, and I go back to work in 2 days. Today I think is the first day that I'm actually going to get out of the house. I need to go pick up my milk. I get like raw grass-fed milk from a local farm, and I'm not gonna be around people. It's like a little shed, and you just pull up and you grab your milk out and you check mark off your name off of the list. So I'm not gonna be around people because I still have a few days left before I am technically, I think, allowed to be around people. It is a rainy day outside today. I don't know if you can see. It's, you know, not super great, but I think just getting out is gonna be good for me. I hope all of your Backlist Readathon is going well. Let's go drive and get some milk, and I'm going to listen to When She Returned in the car because I have it on Kindle Unlimited as the audiobook version.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away, standing on a field with you and flowers everywhere. Maybe there is a star with your name. One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one who has a heart as pure, no, not like yours.
Today is day 4, I think, of the Backlist Readathon. I am feeling a lot better, even though I still have a cough and some breathing issues. I got dressed, I put my makeup on, like, I feel like a different person again, so that's good. Let me just pick this up so it's a little bit easier for me to talk. So I actually just finished filming my memoir recommendations video that I'm gonna be editing today. And yesterday I actually made a large dent into the book that I was currently reading. So I was reading When She Returned by Lucinda Berry, or I'm still reading it. So I'm about halfway, 122 pages, and I am really liking it. So this is about a married couple, Kate and Scott, and they have a daughter named Abby. And Kate becomes part of this one cult they're called like the Love Legion or something like that. But she doesn't immediately become a part of it. It's because she is getting back into like being a journalist, and this cult kind of comes onto the campus and it tries to get like students to not be drug addicts anymore. So she's doing like a piece on them. She becomes very interested in it after like talking with the main cult leader, Ray. And so eventually she ends up like leaving her family and being part of this cult. It fast forwards to years later. Both Scott and his daughter Abby, they don't know what happened to Kate. So they actually, like, years have gone by, they decide that she's dead and they like proclaim her dead. Scott gets remarried to a woman named Meredith who has like 2 sons of her own, and they're living this life, and then all of a sudden Kate comes back and has a baby. Like, she is found like at a gas station or something with a baby, right? Like, super crazy. The baby is hers, but other than that, that's all I know. Like, that's pretty much what I read for the first half. I did read about like there's about the cult and like how she kind of comes into it and things that they have been doing to her there. But it has been very interesting, and I'm curious like whose baby this is, like who did she have this baby with, and what made her leave, and just I have a lot of different questions. So I'm hoping that this book answers all of them. I'm hoping that I can give it a good rating, and my plan is to definitely finish it today and maybe be able to start my 4th book, because this is my 3rd book technically. I do go back to work tomorrow, so I work 3 to close, and then I'm off on Saturday, and I work a 2 to close on Sunday. So I need to get reading if I'm going to read all of these books in time. I still can't taste or smell anything. I'm thinking about making a coffee, but it's kind of just like useless making a coffee because it's not like I can taste a coffee. But I kind of want to have a coffee and edit my video. That way I can get the memoir recs up for you guys, and then I'm going to work on reading. I have been watching Euphoria. I just got to season 2. I think I'm on episode 4, and I am loving that show. It's very dark though, very sad. I mean, it's exactly like I love my books. So I think if you have the same taste as me, there's a lot of naked people in it though, lots of sex. So just be warned, everyone. Okay, so it is 2:13. I finished editing my memoir vlog, and I got some other computer things done. I had to put up that we're having reading sprints tonight over on my YouTube channel, and then I also announced that I'm doing a movie night on Saturday night for everyone on Patreon. So I'm really excited about that. We're gonna watch that new Ben Affleck movie on Hulu called Deep Water. So I'm really excited about that. I made myself another salad like I had yesterday. Actually, yesterday I ate it like twice. And for some reason, like even though I can't taste it, the like refreshingness of it, I feel like I can feel that in my mouth and like on my tongue and stuff, and it just feels good to me rather than having like protein or something that's really heavy and hot. I don't know how to explain it, but to me this tastes good even though I can't taste it, and it's what I've been craving even though I have no smell and no taste. So it's not like I'm actually craving anything because I'm not salivating at all. It's a weird experience, guys. But this time I also added some mayo and mustard to make it like a creamy dressing. But it's like apple cider vinegar and some spices and stuff and olive oil. Looks really good though. I'm really liking the chopped salad where like everything's kind of cut up in little pieces. I had saw these are Bible chapter covers, like books of the Bible, you know what I mean? Liv over at Liv's Library, she's one of my co-hosts for this readathon, she had posted about these from this Daily Grace Co. And they ended up having these for $5. So I ended up getting some. These are the jewel toned ones. Let me see if I can take them out. They look absolutely beautiful. I love them so much. I'm gonna put these on my Bible today. And then I also got a Nespresso order in. So I got a bunch of the boxes of the iced Leguro, which I really like. I actually have a video, it's already up on my main channel, so I'll try and link it up here, but it's my favorite Nespresso pods right now. I actually got a new flavor to try, and this one was actually kind of expensive. It's like double the price as the other ones, but this is the Special Reserve Hawaii Kona. The box looks super cool. Let's see what the pods look like. Oh my gosh, they look really, really cool. I believe they're an espresso. Yeah, they are. Don't know how sad I am right now that I can't taste, because I feel like I would be wasting this pod if I tried to have it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and start listening to my book while I put like my espresso things. I like put them in these little vases that I got from the dollar store, because then I have them all in here. But yeah, this is my little coffee area. So I'm gonna fill these up and then put the rest away. It looks like I have 2 hours and 10 minutes left for when she returned, but that's if I listen to it on the 1.8, which is what I'm listening to it when I don't have the book. But when I actually get the book, then I like speed it up to like 2.5. So I'll have like about 2 hours or less left.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads
Okay, I finished my third book for the Backlist Readathon. So I had finished When She Returned by Lucinda Berry, and I'm gonna be rating it 4 stars, just like Goodnight Beautiful. So the ending really, okay, let me explain. I really, really loved the first half of it. I explained all of that to you all. Then once I got to the second half, all of what I was reading this afternoon, I felt like my rating was going down because I felt like, number one, it was getting a little too long-winded. I wasn't feeling as much suspense built into the cult aspect, just because we were getting a lot of flashbacks for the cult, and it was just kind of like a continuing story. I wasn't really learning anything new, but the ending really did save the book, because I was worried that I was going to rate it a 3-star, but with the ending, I definitely wanted to bump it back up to a 4-star. It is not a happy ending, which I love. I love that it's not all tied up into a pretty little bow, and it really does show just the trauma that people go through when they are in a cult. I definitely see what people are talking about when they were recommending this book to me because of it having the cult themes in it, and it really is about a cult. It's not my favorite Lucinda Berry though. Still, Saving Noah takes the cake. I mean, definitely that one. I don't think I could ever read a book that's better than that one. And then The Perfect Child is my second favorite of the Lucinda Berry books, but this one is still a good read. I'm going to keep it on my favorite shelf. I might even have my sister read it. She might like that. I'm not sure if, I think she would like the cult aspect maybe. But now I'm trying to decide between reading these 3 books. So I posted a poll on Instagram, and not a huge amount of people have voted yet. It looks like, oh, it changed. Because at first when I looked at it just a few minutes ago, Sing You Home was winning. But now Brother is winning by 1 vote. But I'm not as excited to listen to Brother. I don't know, maybe I just need to like really focus on it, because when I tried reading it the other day when I was really sick, I just could not get into it. But that was probably because I was really sick and I was really tired and I was falling asleep while listening to it. So I'm not sure, like I'm gonna be reading on the reading sprint tonight with both Liv and Sydney. So this might be a good one to read on the reading sprint. I really want to watch more of Euphoria, but I've been trying to like actually read and do the things that I need to for the readathon. You see all these? There's actually one more stack behind those. These are the books that came for my blind date with the book for Patreon. So since they came in, I really probably should start wrapping those in order to get those mailed out. It's perfect for me to listen to a book or even watch a little bit of Euphoria, because like the TV is right here, so I could easily just like sit here and wrap some books and watch my favorite show right now. Well, even though I can't taste, my dinner seems to have turned out really good. It's a green bean casserole with ground beef. I got the recipe just online, and I have a bag of cauliflower rice to go with it, since it's a little juicier than I would have liked. And I have just been getting the books ready. I'm trying not to show you what they are, but I've been wrapping them up, so that's what I've been doing. Hello, I think today is Backlist Readathon day 5. Getting my days all mixed up, but I actually have to get ready for work. This morning, I spent a lot of my time packaging up the blind dates for my Patreon, and then I ended up finishing the last episode of Euphoria because I was watching season 2. That finished and I was like crying my eyes out. And then I think I forgot to tell you guys, but last night for the reading sprints, I had started reading Brother by Anya Alborn, and I got 83 pages into it and I decided to DNF it. It is just not for me. It was so boring, so character driven, so much description. It felt a lot like a Stephen King book. And so I was really struggling even with the 83 pages. So I decided to DNF it. And then today I started this book. This is The Less People Know About Us, about this family that keeps having their identity stolen. And I am about halfway, almost halfway. I'm gonna listen to more of it while I'm at work, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I am learning different things about your identity being stolen, because obviously that's never happened to me, but I didn't realize, like, this happens back in like the 80s, I think, and that's right when it was becoming illegal. So because there wasn't really like an online presence, it didn't happen very often, so they didn't really have like ways to fix it. So the daughter, she was like paranoid her whole life because of it started happening when she was 11, but then when she was in college, like, she got her credit report and her identity had been stolen, and she goes to the cops and like they don't really do anything about it. She calls the credit card companies. They also are like, yeah, we don't believe you. So it's very heartbreaking. Fortunately, I was looking on Goodreads because I was reading like the synopsis on Goodreads and stuff, and people literally had like reviews with the spoiler like at the top without even saying it was a spoiler. Like, they were like, oh, I can't believe that blah, and I was like, why would you do that? So unfortunately, I actually already know like who is stealing the identity, which is really sad because that could have definitely been like a shocking twist for me. I would have not known that if I hadn't gone on to Goodreads. I wish people respected people more and made sure that they put their spoilers in hidden spoiler content. Okay, I'm gonna get ready for work and maybe I'll update you guys later if I read some more. Hello, I am finished with work. It went okay. I wasn't like as tired as I thought, and I do think that my breathing is getting better, but I was able to finish this book while I was at work, which was fantastic because I had a lot of prep that I had to do. So I finished this and I'm rating this 4 stars. This is the third 4-star book that I've had for this readathon. How crazy is that? I actually still really enjoyed it, even though I had been spoiled and I knew who the person was that was stealing the identity. But this just has like so many of the things that I love in memoirs. Like, obviously learning about anybody's life is just very mesmerizing for me, but the fact that like this stolen identity was hitting very close to like the family, and you learn about like the person that's doing it, how like messed up their head is to be able to do it to this family. So I absolutely loved it. I learned a lot about like identity theft, especially identity theft back in the 80s when like it wasn't very popular. Really enjoyed this book. I think the audio was really great. I think the book itself was really great. So I would definitely recommend, if that's something that you have been interested in like reading more about, or if you like true crime, like it is kind of written in a true crime way. And then again, if you like memoirs, which I already had my memoirs recommendation go up, but this would have been in it if I would have read it in time. So I'm excited because I only have 1 more book left, and we still have 2 days left of the readathon. And tomorrow I'm doing reading sprints on Sydney's channel, and so I'm gonna start my Jodi Picoult book tomorrow. So I'm gonna start that, and it might take me the full 2 days to read it. It might be like my last book. Good morning. Today is day 6 of the Backlist Readathon. So it is 11:30, I think, 11:23. I'm about to get ready so that way I can hop on for the reading sprints over on Sydney's channel. This morning, I only woke up at like 9:30, and then I had to go do a grocery pickup order at Walmart. And then I started my book. So this is Sing You Home by Jodi Picoult. I think I'm saying it right now, because they said it in the beginning of this book. Anyway, I am, let me put you down here so that way I can talk correctly. Whoa, this book, I'm only 22 pages in, and I am absolutely loving it. I already am getting like teary-eyed because I didn't read the back of it. I was just going into it kind of blind at first, but it like made me just dive right in. Like, it's so entertaining and so good. But the main character, Zoe, actually went through IVF, and it's actually kind of crazy because she's gone through like 5 IVF cycles, and it even like explained like everything about IVF and was talking about the medication names and everything. So I felt like I could relate so much to what the main character is going through. But I am like tearing up right now because she finally did get pregnant, and she's 28 weeks, and she was at her baby shower. She started bleeding and cramping a lot, and you know, like freaking out and everything. And where I just read, they literally said, "I'm not seeing a heartbeat, Zoe. She looks me in the eye. I'm afraid your baby is dead." So yeah, I am loving it. I actually think, like, I don't know, we'll have to see because it is a fairly long book, but I think I do really, really love Jodi's writing, because even with The Pact, the writing has stuck with me and the story has stuck with me. It was just too long. And I did listen to The Pact, I think mostly on audio, and so far today I've been doing like audio and the book. So I'm curious to see like how I'm going to feel about this one. And I really want to read 19 Minutes by her because it's about a school shooting, and I feel like she just is so good at like making me feel things in her books, because I felt that way with The Pact. Like, I felt for the characters, like I felt for what was happening, and I'm doing the same thing for this one, Sing You Home. So I'm actually really excited. I am loving every single second of reading it, and normally, like, I feel like that's when I know that a book is going to be good, is when I am loving it even from the first page. Like, I am not someone that can rate a book high if I struggled. Like, you know, even if I love the ending, it's hard for me if I struggled in the first half of the book, you know, for me to give it like 5 stars. But yeah, I'm really loving this one. So I'm actually gonna put some makeup on right now and fix my hair. I just had it pulled back and stuff. And I'm probably gonna make the same salad I've been making like every day. That's what I got from Walmart for my pickup order. I got like more iceberg lettuce, more cucumbers, and I just hard-boiled some eggs because I'm just loving that chopped salad. Even though I can't really taste it, the freshness, it's good. My husband is finally hanging up my swing that he got me for Christmas. I don't know where it is. I don't know where he put it. It must be, I don't know where he put it. Anyway, it's a round rope swing. I'll show you once he like hangs it up.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover.
Okay, it is almost 8 o'clock. I have been listening to Sing You Home. I am 39% in, and I was playing a little bit of Animal Crossing, and then I also made a white chicken chili for dinner. But now I'm actually getting ready for my Patreon movie watch. So we're gonna be watching that movie Deep Water on Hulu. It's like a psychological thriller. So that's what I'm doing, and I wanted to get 50% of the way through my book today so I could read the other half tomorrow, but I got close to it. So I think I can finish it tomorrow, even though I have to work, but I can listen to a bunch of it before I go into work. I'm still liking it. I just don't love it as much as I did in the beginning, just because it is getting to the dragging part and it's turned just more into a relationship, and so I'm waiting for like something exciting to happen again, if that makes sense. All right, let me get my movie ready. I've heard like such crazy things about this movie, so we'll see how it is. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it or not.
I would be up waiting for you if you had to leave. I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up.
Good morning. Today is the last day of the Backlist Readathon. I cannot believe that like this week has flown by so fast, and I am just really glad. Like when I was filming day one, all I could think about in my head was, okay, I'm gonna get to day 7 and I'm not gonna be as sick as I was on day 1. Like I'm always like thinking about the future, and especially when I don't like the current situation of what I'm living, I always think it's going to move on and eventually I will be at the future point. So I am glad to say that I am breathing a lot better now. I'm not 100%, but I would say I probably have about 85 to 90% like back lung capacity. I would say that my taste and smell is still only at like 3%, which is nuts. So like I did make myself a pour over coffee today because I felt bad if I wasted the Nespresso pods, because I can't really taste coffee. I just want a warm beverage as like a comfort, but I couldn't taste the Nespresso pods, so felt like I was wasting the money for them. I do work today. It is 11 o'clock and I have to be in at 2 o'clock. I work 2 to close. For my book here, I am that far. So I didn't quite make it to the halfway point. I am on page 182, and this is almost a 500-page book. I think it's 466 pages. I can't remember now if I updated you all yesterday. I think I did when I was like cooking or like before I watched the movie. Oh my gosh, that movie. Okay, I watched Deep Water last night on Hulu, which is the new Ben Affleck movie. It's actually based off of a book called Deep Water that was written like, I don't know, a while ago. And I did a group watch with my patrons over on Patreon, and like that in itself was so fun because we all are watching the movie together. Like we started the movie at the same time and then we chat throughout the movie. But it's just so fun because like we're all talking about the same thing. We're all like sending gifts, we're sending emojis, like we're making fun of the movie or whatever, you know, whatever's happening in the moment. So that definitely made the movie so much better. The whole time we were watching the movie, we were thinking about like, okay, we think this is happening, but we also think this could be happening, but like, that seems too obvious. So like, there's definitely gonna be a big twist that we're not gonna see coming. The movie literally just ended. Like, it's not even a spoiler. It's just like, I think that you should be made aware of this before you watch the movie, because if people would have told me that this is how the movie was, I don't even think I would have watched it, because it made me so angry that I spent almost 2 hours of my life watching a movie that literally has no end. I was so mad. So we looked it up, and the book does have a different ending. I don't know why they chose to do the lack of ending for the movie, because the ending in the book, I did look it up because it's not like I'm ever gonna read the book, but the ending in the book would have been better. I don't think I recommend this movie, okay? If you've seen it, let me know in the comments or like send me a message or something. But like, and we never, like the snails, that's what I did last night. So that was really, really fun. And I'm really excited because the next movie that I'm watching with my patrons is going to be this like dystopian movie, like end of the world apocalyptic movie on Netflix. And I love movies like that. Like I love Bird Box, and I can't think of any others at the moment, but I love movies like that. And I love like zombie shows, like anything that's like end of the world, where you're like, oh my gosh, what would I do in this situation? Like, because I obviously would die. Like, there's no way I'm surviving. And if you're interested in watching with me, like I offer the movie watch. I just added it on. It's new content for every single person on my Patreon. So even if you just have the $3 tier, you can watch a movie with me. I actually just added a whole bunch of new content to my Patreon, so you should definitely go recheck it out if you were like interested beforehand, because we do like a Zoom book discussion party every month for like the book that we're reading. Super fun. That one's coming up in 1 week, I think it's next Saturday, so I'm really excited for that. I do a whole bunch of like behind the scenes videos and stuff where you can watch me like live if you're on your phone at that moment, or you can go back and rewatch like just like me going about my day. Like I was showing what I was cooking last night, and you know, just things like that. You can also like respond to me, so you can specifically video chat with me. So whether it be, you know, you have questions about being a booktuber, or you want to talk to me about your current read, or whatever it would be, we can chat about anything. And I also added that every month I'm gonna be doing an exclusive vlog, kind of like a day in the life vlog, but maybe me reading a book too, and that's only for Patreon, so you're never gonna see it here on YouTube. So if you want that content, you have to become one of my patrons, because that is a Patreon exclusive vlog. I'm really excited for that, and I will get to film my first one, I think, in April. Lots of new content over there. Prices haven't gone up, they're the same, so you get even extra content now. And I'm just really excited that I am not sick anymore. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I was getting back into Animal Crossing, but I honestly really wanted to get Stardew Valley and try that out. My husband says I probably won't like it though, because the graphics are like kind of like old school, but I was looking and it was only $14.99. It's not like a $60 game, so like maybe I should get it and try it out. Okay, I lied about reading. Sid actually just had her spin the bottle video go live, and so I'm watching the premiere. Okay, so I started playing the DLC of Animal Crossing, which is where you get to like make little vacation spots for these people. Well, anyway, this little elephant girl, she wanted a reading nook. How cute is this? I think that's so cute. Like, you had to incorporate, she wanted this bookshelf and a rocking chair and a stack of books, but then you have like all these other options to like decorate her little house for it. Those were like what she wanted, and I think that's so cute. I'm gonna finish it and see if she likes it. What do you think? Cute. My relaxing reading room. Look at that. That's so cute. I would totally read in that room. Oh, look at her reading. That's this is just adorable. Anyway, I don't know if you know, but I actually have a Discord for Animal Crossing because I play it with my friends and we'll have like flea markets and do fun things like that. So I'll try and remember to put the link down below if you want to join my Animal Crossing Discord, because then you can come visit my island and we can be friends and do fun things together. It's super, super fun. So that'll be linked down below, so that way you can join. So speaking of my book, it had turned a little bit different there for a second, because we have our main characters, Max and Zoe, and they had been trying to get pregnant for a really long time. They did 5 cycles of IVF, and she ends up losing the baby at 28 weeks. And after she lost that baby, Max decides that he actually wants to get a divorce from her. And that whole entire like first section was really emotional because for me, like, I'm going through IVF, I've had a miscarriage, and I've been trying to get pregnant for 7 years, and they are at 9 years, I think, in the book. And so all of that I could like super relate to. And then of course it's sad, like, them getting divorced, just because of like all those struggles. And he decides that he doesn't want a kid anymore. Like, he's tired of fighting for a kid. So they get divorced, and then the book changes to Zoe meeting this friend. Her name is Vanessa, and she is a lesbian, and Zoe and Vanessa actually become partners. So part of the book is like talking about, okay, how did Zoe go from like being married to a guy and then, you know, becoming a lesbian? I don't know how to explain it. Like, it started talking about Christians and a pastor in the book, and making Christians kind of seemed like evil people. So I've now gotten to the point where Zoe and Vanessa actually get married, and they are now talking with the IVF clinic and Max because there are still 3 frozen embryos left, and Vanessa would probably be able to carry out a pregnancy because she doesn't have any problems. So Zoe wants to actually finally have her baby that she's always wanted with her partner, Vanessa. And so right now we're coming into that point of the story where I believe there's probably going to be courtroom themes and stuff, just like in the last Jodi Picoult book that I've read. But this one is going to be, Max is going to be fighting, because like, even with Alvin and myself, like, we had to sign off on like what to do with your embryos, like if you're not using them anymore. But also, I just can't take the embryos and like go have a baby with someone else, because part of the embryo is obviously Alvin. So each person that obviously has like genetics to the embryos is allowed to say like, hey, I don't want you to use these. So I believe that the next section of this book is going to be Max fighting
Zoe and Vanessa and not wanting them to use the embryos, even though he doesn't actually want to use them. He just doesn't want part of his child to be with them as a lesbian couple. Does that make sense? So I can see like how the moral dilemmas are coming up, and I'm interested to see how this book is gonna play it off. But so far, I haven't really enjoyed the bad taste in my mouth of Christians being portrayed as like just, I mean, I know there are Christians that are like very ugly about that, but maybe I should just move on from that part and continue reading. But I wanted to give you an update on what it's about, because I did not realize that it was gonna go this like LGBTQ plus route. Not that I'm like mad about it, but I also just don't like the assumptions of what Christians are being made out to be in this book. Does that make sense? I don't know. Hello, good morning. Okay, so I need to do an outro to finish up this vlog. But remember when I was showing you guys about how Alvin was putting up my swing? He wasn't able to finish putting it up that day because he needed some tools and he was gonna borrow them from a neighbor. I came home last night and he had put my swing up, and it is amazing. So let's go see it. It's really windy outside and it's super cold. It's like 40 degrees out, but I wanna show you because I am obsessed with it. Okay, so here is the swing. He hung it so that way obviously it's facing like the nice beautiful views and stuff. So I'm going to hop on it. I love that it's in the sun right now because this side of the house obviously gets sun before this side of the house. So let's go ahead and get on it. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Let me show you my view. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Last night when I sat on it, like I could just see all of the stars up in the sky. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, I love this. How amazing is this gonna be to just like sit out here and read a book? I'm gonna get like an end table either to like set here or over here. So that way I can put like a drink and like a book and I can just chill here. Like it warmed up just a tiny bit, I guess, because the sun is, but gosh, I wish that I could sit out here today. Like, this is amazing. I have a cushion coming for it, which actually might help a little bit because of like where my legs are right here. So that might make it just a tiny bit more comfortable, but it's actually amazing. I love it. And like, I love that it just keeps swinging, but also I can like touch this so I can like swing myself more. I'm just so excited. This is awesome. Now that I showed you my swing, let's talk about the book that I finished yesterday, my last book of the readathon. Actually, we'll do a quick like little wrap up and stuff. Okay, so let's do a quick little wrap up, and then I'll tell you, I'll just wait and save this one for last. So that way I'm not doubling up my wrap up here. So the first book that I read for the Backlist Readathon was for the shortest on my TBR. I read You Have the Right to Remain Fat. I ended up giving this 2 stars. I just felt like it's obviously not written for me. I probably shouldn't have even like hauled this or picked this up anyway. So other people might be able to relate to it better, but for myself, I just didn't love it. Then after that, I read Goodnight Beautiful as the bonus book of the month prompt because I like swapped for this and it was the book of the month copy. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I actually really liked it. I thought that it was a decent thriller with some really good twists in it, but I couldn't give it 5 stars because of the fact that it references Misery by Stephen King and then it turns into Misery by Stephen King pretty much. And so I just felt like that wasn't original. And so I gave it 4 stars because of being like actually shocked by some of the twists happening, like did not see some of those coming. But yeah, so pretty good. Then after that, I think I read this next. So this is When She Returned by Lucinda Berry. I also gave this 4 stars. This is a cult thriller. So this is about a lady investigate this cult, like she's a journalist. She is married and has a kid, and she ends up like actually being like converted to this cult, and she disappears for a few years actually. She is pronounced dead, and then she comes back. So when the original original mom comes back, everyone's in shock because they were pretty positive that she was dead, and she came back from this cult, and they try to put the pieces together as to like, why did she leave? Why did she come back? She came out back with a baby too. Like, it's actually really, really good. I really like the ending. It has a very good ending. So if you like cults, you should definitely pick this one up. Then I tried reading Brother. This I DNF'd at 83 pages. This was just very slow, very descriptive, very character driven. This is a horror book, and I just did not like it. I loved nothing about it, so I decided to DNF it, unfortunately. I forgot to say that this was for the color on the cover, and this was supposed to be recommended to me, because I actually had tons of people recommend this to me. Then I read The Less People Know About Us. This I read for the prompt of recently hauled, because I did get this for Christmas, and this is a nonfiction memoir about this family who had their identity stolen back in the 80s, before that it became very, you know, well-known and popular. It is pretty thrilling, like, because you don't know who's stealing the identities until like the 70% mark, and then you find out. Unfortunately, I was spoiled by it because I was like looking at things on Goodreads, and there are definitely reviews that are not marked with spoilers that tell you like exactly who the person is. So I don't recommend going onto Goodreads at all if you don't want to be spoiled, but I still gave this 4 stars because I learned a lot about like identities being stolen. I still, even though I knew who was doing it, I still thought that it was a really great read. I really liked the story, and so yeah, if you like memoirs, like, this is definitely one that I recommend. Then lastly, I was able to finish my book in time. This is Sing You Home. This is for my Intimidated prompt because it's big. This is almost 500 pages, and I am just scared in general of long books. I don't know why, but also Jodi Picoult in general. I had read The Pact 2 months ago, and I enjoyed it. I was like debating on like 3.5 to 4 stars, but I just felt like it was very long-winded, and I was like waiting for it to end. So that's why I was afraid to pick up this one. After reading this one, I did rate this 4 stars, and I decided I'm gonna go back and rate The Pact 4 stars on Goodreads, because I believe on Goodreads I have it at a 3, and then on the Story Wrap I have it as a 3.5. But I think that Jodi deserves to have the books at a 4 star. I wish that I could rate them higher, but again, I just felt like this one was also long, and sometimes I just get like antsy in the middle of them, if that makes sense. Like, I want to know more, and sometimes it's a little bit too much of a story or you know, a character at the point of like, I want more of the plot, if that makes sense. But I'm pretty sure I am in love with Jodi's writing. I really enjoy that her books have these like moral dilemmas. Like, it really makes me think in that situation, like, what would I be doing in this situation? I really love the emotions. This one starts out with IVF and infertility with a married couple, but it does turn into a lesbian love story. It has a lot of LGBTQ+ rep in it, and the gist of this book is the couple that underwent IVF was a man and a woman. They end up getting divorced, which happens pretty early on, actually. It's a big part of the story, and they forget to deal out these like 3 frozen embryos that they have within their divorce. So years later, then, once our character is remarried to a woman, she wants to use these embryos in order to finally have the child that she wants, and her husband fights her on it. Well, her ex-husband, I should say, fights her on it. Even though he doesn't want kids, he also does not want her to use these embryos. There is a very huge, like, kind of Christian hate part in this book, which I didn't really love when I was reading it, but I also understand that that is a part of life, and there are Christians that are pretty mean about the whole situation. So even though I didn't like that every Christian in the book was shown as like being a bad person, I do understand that that is some people's experience. But at first, when I was starting to get to the end, I thought like this one, because it is like a courtroom scene, like usually halfway through the books is when the courtroom scenes start, and I thought I didn't like courtroom books or courtroom, like, I don't know, would you call them thrillers, but I love the way that Jodi writes her courtroom scenes. Like, I learn so much, and the arguments are so interesting. Like, sometimes I feel like they are a little long-winded, actually more so in The Pact. I felt like The Pact was more long-winded than this book felt. It is just so interesting to think about who is right or wrong because of these moral dilemmas. Like, not one person was necessarily right or wrong in the situation. It did end up turning out differently than I thought. There for a second, I was really worried about what this ending was going to be because this like curveball got thrown in almost at the last minute, and I was like, yeah. But I'm so glad that I was able to finish it last night in time for the readathon. I really enjoyed it, and I am now like such a Jodi fan. I cannot wait to be done with my Reading to Zero challenge so I can read more of her books. I think the next one I'm gonna read is 19 Minutes, but I won't be reading that until the summer when I finish my Reading to Zero challenge. I actually looked, my library has like all of her books, so I have a large list of where I'm going to go. So yeah, that was the end of my readathon. This was, I actually had 4 stars. So Goodnight Beautiful, When She Returned, The Less People Know About Us, and Sing You Home were all 4 stars. And then I had 1 DNF and 1 2 star. So I feel like I did really, really well. And I'm also glad that I'm over COVID. And guess what? Today I was able to smell some essential oils. You guys don't know like how amazing that is. I was able to smell the peppermint and the rosemary. I have not been able to smell for almost 2 weeks now. Like nothing at all. Not my shampoo, not my deodorant, not my cooking, nothing. And I am so stoked. I got some of my smell back. Like, that's amazing. Now I just need to work on my taste. My taste needs to come back. I hope you all loved this readathon. Thank you for participating, and a big thanks to Sydney and Liv for being my co-host this month. I'm gonna go get my April TBR ready. So you should be seeing that video out soon, and I'll see you guys maybe in that video next, who knows? But have a nice day, bye-bye.